Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the top 5 items that you should either be buying more of or earlier. So these are going to be items that you are either maybe buying in your build a little bit, but maybe you're buying them further in the game, or maybe you haven't been looking at them enough. These are items that you should be buying often and early in your games. They are extremely powerful. Now, number 5 is going to be the one that there's the best chance that you're already buying right now. And that is going to be our good old Boundless Spirit. So Boundless Spirit got buffed in this last patch. It now gives 15% spirit power. So this particular item is one that falls under the category of one that you should be buying earlier. If you're not buying this item on your spirit characters, first of all, whoa, pump the brakes. What are you doing with your life? But this is an item that you can actually get away with buying a lot earlier than you used to. Beforehand, you would have to get most of your build done, and then you would buy the Boundless, because then it would be worthwhile in terms of the total spirit that it gives you. But Boundless Spirit right now, as a single item, 15% spirit power, 35 spirit power. Then you get the health in the out-of-combat region, which is kind of whatever. But it's also a 6,400 item, which means it gives you the 25 spirit power increase, which means this is essentially a 60 spirit power item, which means that just by itself, then giving that additional 15% is basically 69 spirit power. Nice. But this item is so crazy strong by itself that you should be getting it a lot earlier. If you're not getting Boundless Spirit before the 20-minute marker, you are making a mistake. On your characters like Grey Talon, on your Lash, on your Pocket, it gives you absolutely so much damage. You need to be buying it, and you need to be buying it earlier. Next up, an item that you should be buying, and this is an interesting one because I think you should be buying it and not upgrading it. And that's going to be Monster Rounds. Monster Rounds is a really undervalued item. Cultist Sacrifice is kind of poo-poo doo-doo now. They reduced the way that cooldown interacts with items. And now if you want to get the item cooldown reduction, you have to upgrade all the way to the new 6,000 cooldown item, which means that Cultist Sacrifice has lost major value. I'm actually not building it on anybody. I tested it on Seven and on Geist, which are the two characters that I believe it was the best on personally before the patch. And it's not good on either of them anymore. The only character I see ever build it at this point is basically Warden. And even on Warden, I don't know if it's necessary. I think that Cult of Sacrifice is probably on the way out right now. But Monster Rounds specifically. Monster Rounds is great in two situations. One, if you're a character that does a lot of bullet damage that doesn't actually do a ton of damage early, a character like Wraith really benefits from Monster Rounds, from just being able to clear the waves faster, go into the jungle, do those faster. It's very cheap, and it gives you that 25% weapon damage versus NPCs. It's also really good for split pushing if you're going to be pushing things like Walkers and Guardians all game, and you know you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the PvE. Monster Rounds as an 800 item gives you so much damage against those objectives, and it's a great item if you're actually losing the lane and getting pushed, because it will help you push back on those creeps when they do get under your tower. So that way you can kill them faster and your Guardian takes less damage. So those are the kind of situations you should be looking to get it in, and you should be buying it more. Really undervalued item because it just has like PvE stats on it. But those PvE stats go a long way. I just would not recommend upgrading it into the Cultist Sacrifice. Now for our next 3 items, there's going to be a theme here. We talked about it in our patch notes review, which if you haven't seen us go over the entire patch notes, you should go check out that video, and you should make sure that you check out our future ones where we go over patch notes, because we're here with Deadlock, we're here to stay. We're going to be giving you all this good content, so hopefully you enjoy it and learn something here today and tomorrow and the day after that. But these next items are going to be a theme. They were really strong items before the patch. They were insanely undervalued, and they actually got buffed, which I actually think is a massive mistake, because I do believe they were already some of the strongest items in the game, and now it's just like way overtuned. And for number 3, that is going to be our Reactive Barrier. This is an item that you should be buying often and earlier in the game. Everybody thinks about Reactive Barrier when you're against a Bebop in the lane, but there's so much more than just Bebop for when this item is viable. any form of stun, chain, immobilize, or slept, okay, is going to give you this reactive barrier. We're talking multis, we're talking haze daggers, all sorts of stuff will proc this. And right off the bat, it gives you 325 total barrier. Let's see if I can level up all the way here. Let's see if this is going to work the way that I think it is. Slam, 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 slam. Oh my god, he's leveling so fast. He's a hacker. If we go to the end now, you can see the barrier is up to 400, and this barrier is scaling. So if you see that little symbol by it, this barrier is scaling. So if we go ahead and buy back, let's say ourselves our our Boundless Spirit, now all of a sudden it's a 554 barrier. That's just with one item. If you're on a spirit character or you're building any sort of spirit item, these barriers can easily get to the 600 to 700 HP range individually. Which means if you start stacking multiple of these together, if you're on a squishy character, it can literally double your HP bar right now. So make sure you are buying reactive barrier. Any game that they've got enough CC to put on you, you should be buying reactive barrier. Number 2 on this list should be very clear now that we talked about reactive barrier, and this is actually going to be a bundle deal, and that's going to be spirit shielding and weapon shielding. These are essentially the same item that proc in 2 different situations. Weapon shielding is for when you take a lot of weapon damage from enemy heroes in a small time. Spirit shielding is when you take a lot of spirit damage from enemy heroes in a small time. These are going to give you that barrier effect. They are on a 35-second cooldown compared to reactive barrier, which is on about a 20-second cooldown. They also give you movement speed when they proc. If you are playing a character like Vindicta, like Grey Talon, Infernus, anybody that is a damaged character that you want a little bit of tankiness on. Infernus, to be fair, can build a lot of tankiness and get away with it. But particularly on lower mid-range HP characters that you're building a ton of damage on, and then you want to get maximum value out of these, I'm telling you right now, Spirit Shielding kicks the absolute panties off of Enchanter's Emblem every day of the week. Weapon Shielding kicks the panties off of Battle Vest every day of the week. These Battle Vest and Enchanter emblems are now, honestly, for much tankier characters. Like, if I was playing Geist, I'm leaning into the emblem and the vest because I know I'm also going to get things like Berserker, weighted shots, Spirit Resilience, right? I'm going to be pushing, like, 60% resilience on Geist. So I'm going to get a lot of value out of those together. But if I'm on a Grey Talon, 15% Spirit Resist is honestly so much less worth it from a defensive perspective than Spirit Shielding is. The only time I would get the Enchanters is if I want that bonus Spirit Power and cooldown. I'd be literally buying this as like a hybrid offensive item in that situation, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with stacking an Enchanters and a Spirit Shielding. With the way matchmaking is working right now, if you look at the damage on comps, oftentimes you'll see comps that are like 4 or 5 damage of just gun or just spirit, in which case you don't need the battle vest, right? You don't need the weapon shielding. Get the enchanters and the spirit shielding. Double down on it with your reactive barrier. Put them all into one build because they've got 5 times the spirit damage. It works out fantastic, so make sure you're building to the composition that you're against. But if you're not building at least one shield item every single game right now, you're probably losing more 1v1s than you need to be. Are you okay over there, Mr. Guardian? Are you having a hard time? Those creep pushing up on you? I'm trying to make a video here. Relax. Finally, the number 1 item that you should be buying more of. I cannot believe more people do not buy this items in more situations. It is quite literally the best item in the game right now. And it is another green item. A lot of green items that have made its way into this. And that is going to be Counterspell. Counterspell got buffed in this last patch for some reason. Again, Counterspell is a 3,200 item. 100 bonus health, 8 spirit power. Doesn't seem that amazing from a pure stat perspective, okay? The passive is only on a 20-second cooldown, all right? And that doesn't count if you actually are a character that is going to be going in getting the enhanced cooldown. A little transcendent cooldown all up in here, right? Now we've got item cooldown. This is a 14-second cooldown item. When you parry, it protects you from damage of the effects of abilities and items. Okay? This lasts for a full second. So this whole parry duration, anything and everything that hits you during that time does not work. We're not talking a spell. I'm talking if you get hit by 27 abilities in that 1 second, you will immune 27 abilities all at the same time. Now, obviously, you're not getting hit by that many abilities at the same time, but the point being, if they're throwing out items and abilities all at the same time, you can literally immune every single one of them, and it's only on a 14-second cooldown. And they just buffed the item, so after you successfully parry, you're going to heal yourself for 150, you're going to gain 2 movement speed, and you're going to gain 20 spirit power for 6 seconds afterwards, which means you're also going to give yourself the ability to escape even easier. Now, everybody knows you buy counterspell against Lash. Lash goes to ulti you. Big Lash strings. I parry. Wow, I'm shielded. I don't get pulled. Counterspell has so many other uses. If you're going against a Geist, and you know the Geist is about to ulti you, counterspell Geist ult, she does not swap the HP. She just dies. Mo is coming to ulti you, counterspell it. Doesn't get the stun on you. Shiv in the air, you hear his zing about to ulti you. Stop it with a counterspell. His ulti goes on cooldown. He doesn't get the reset on it. All of these things work with counterspell, are all amazing situations to be buying the item. By far, the most undervalued item in the game. It is crazy that you don't see like at least 5 of these every single game. At most, I see like 1 or 2 most games. Even against a Lash, I mostly see 1 or 2 of them. Undervalued item like crazy. So for those top 5 items, it's number 5, Boundless Spirit. You should be buying it earlier. Number 4, Monster Hunter Rounds, which you should be buying if you're split pushing or if you're behind and you need to be clearing out those creeps. Number 3, Reactive Barrier. Number 2, Weapon and Spirit Shielding, because barriers are busted right now. And number 1 is Counter Spell, so you can literally immune absolutely everything that is coming your way, guys. Now, I hope this will give you a bit of an idea of some items to throw in your build, some stuff to try, and hopefully it helps you win your games a little bit more. If you'd like to support the Twitchiest community, you can do all the YouTube things like commenting, and subscribing. It really does help. And of course, we're live over on Twitch every day, Monday through Friday, so you can come ask me questions about other build stuff.